everyone, my name is Yi-Chun Lin, and today I'm going to talk about the bow. A bow is so important in any bow string instrument playing. So I'm going to go through a few basics and we'll get to how to sound the best on our instrument. Okay, so you look at the bow and you see this silver lining part. And you place your index finger on it, right? So where do you place it? I found the most helpful would be if you place your index finger laying down on the side in between the top two joints, like this. Some people hold their bow like this. They put the contact point past the middle joint. And it's actually, some people make it work, but to me, it actually limits a lot of flexibility on the bow control. I have done this for many years, like holding my bow like this for quite a while. And during that period of time, I found myself having trouble doing a lot of different kind of techniques just because my hand felt really locked and I couldn't really control much. So I got this, I call it zombie hand like this. And some people ask me, oh, you got a Russian bow hold, because this also looks like a Russian bow hold indeed. So after that period of time, I slowly discovered that, oh, I feel actually more free and more comfortable after pulling my index finger back a little bit so it lays in between, the contact point lays in between my joints. And that just allows a lot more freedom and control overall on the bow hold, yeah? So I encourage you to try if you don't have this bow hold currently. If you put your contact point forward like this, I will encourage you to pull it back and see what happens. And we should have talked about the sound first, but now we're talking about the sound. The sound is you place it at the frock where the top frock, this part joins the bow stick right here. It's right in between the leather piece and the frock. There's a little opening. So this is where we place our thumb. And I bent it a little bit. And the right thumb, so if I put the bow away, I bend my thumb and my middle finger lays right across from it, like this. Like, you know, there's a little hole we create right here. So let me put it back like this or this, yeah? And our pinky stays on top because the pinky is quite important. It helps with distributing the weight, yeah? And it helps with the control back and forth with the joint. So that's why I always encourage you to try at home, hold your bow like this. See if the first finger, pinky, and thumb, they can create a very strong bow hold, firm grip, good control, and you can press your pinky down like this to see if the control is firm and, you know, comfortable. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna put my middle finger back, and the last thing we wanna do is we wanna make sure, do we see the knuckle on top of the middle finger? We wanna make sure this doesn't stay up, because that means the whole hand stays up and there's so much space. You can see that, you know, and usually in this case, when everything stays up, your thumb tend to be bent the other way, the way we don't want, and this will lock your hand, like how I describe it as a zombie hand, like this, you know. Then we have no flexibility whatsoever when our hand is locked. So we to prevent this from happening, bend our thumb, make sure the triangle of first finger, pinky, stay strong, and middle finger stay across from it, and I'm gonna push my middle knuckle down like this, while the rest of the fingers and the joints, they coordinate, right? I'm gonna do it one more time like this. You see, there's so much space now, but I'm gonna push the middle joint knuckle down. So I minimize the space between, you know, between the hand and the bow. And now there's a smaller circle inside, right? So I would also encourage you to imagine there's an egg inside your palm, so your thumb can stay bent this way, and you create a round, soft palm inside your hand. Good. So once we establish the bow hold, can put the bow onto the string. A lot of people ask me what a straight bow is. Let me tell you, a straight bow is the bow that makes the best sound. So it doesn't have to look super straight. It just has to always be at the best sounding point. So let me show you real quick. Put your bow on the string, and this is a viola, so I'm gonna choose the D string, yeah? Did you notice anything? A straight bow, watch the bow and the bridge. The distance between the bridge and the bow stays pretty much the same, yeah? Yeah, and we all know that between the fingerboard and the bridge, the middle part produces the best sound. So we will try to stay in the middle when we want a healthy, big sound. Yeah, and so you can visually just watch where your bow contact point is on the string to see if your bow is sliding this way or that way. Because oftentimes when our bow is not making a good sound, it's because our bow is not straight. Some people think this is a straight bow, but look at this. This is not a straight bow. Instead, you are locking your arm. Your arm is locked like that. And this is not what we want. We want our elbow and the right arm to always, you know, remain this bent angle a little bit instead of this way. We want it relaxed like this so we can have more flexibility on the right side of our arm and hand, yeah? So yeah, and you might notice that it looks like I pull my bow towards my body, but if you watch very carefully that my bow and the bridge remains a very consistent distance. Right? So this is how we can create a good sound, and with a straight bow, which is not visually straight, but it's actually closer to your body. Some people might even exaggerate it a little bit when we want to create very, very strong sound. We want our bow to be as close to our body as possible, but definitely don't go overboard like this. Yeah. So we can still have a very good contact point. If we go this, then see, I feel like I already lost my bow holding contact halfway through just because my arm is short. So if your arm is short like me, definitely this is the no-no for you, yeah? So, good. And now we should talk about bow hair a little bit. A lot of people have different tendencies about when to tilt the bow and how to tilt the bow. Well, just to reassure you that the best sounding sound is always like the most, we can use the most hair, right? The most bow hair. So so if we tilt our bow a little slightly this way, it's just to help as a frog, so we can produce a little less aggressive sound, because the frog is the heaviest, and I consider the harder to control. So we start a little bit from the side here, and we go down, yeah, and make sure the tip, see, your bow has a absolutely good control. And when we go down, what happens to our elbow? Our elbow relatively goes up. I'm not saying we have to push it up when our bow goes down. I'm just saying when we are doing a down bow, our elbow stays. Instead of going down with our bow like this, we don't do this, right? So our elbow stays up like this, like there's some support, just stays. Yeah, it stays. And when we go up bow, we relax our elbow. Yeah. And then you might notice that my left side of the body kind of swings a little bit as I am playing with my down bow and up bow, because the left side of body usually stays there, but the concept is that it can also help your right side to produce a better sound. Let me show you. When I go down, I imagine myself opening up on both sides of my body like this. So I open up, yeah, and then when I go up, I closing. This is just one way that you can coordinate your body. But of course, you know, if you feel like your left side is already unstable and your bow is already unstable, don't do that. Just make sure your left side stays, you know, just stays up, so your right hand can coordinate, right side can coordinate the angle and where to go. Yeah. And the next thing I want to talk about is that actually is relating to what I just talked about, where you place your instrument. A lot of times I see people hold it like this, so the bow has to go all the way back to chase the instrument this way. And I'm exaggerating, but that's just what I see a lot of people do, like this. So instead of you know, struggling on the right hand, I would encourage you to check on your left side if it's within, you know, if where you place your instrument is where the bow feels comfortable, like within your right arm's comfortability, the range of comfortability. So I'm just gonna demonstrate the exaggerated wrong one like this. And I always feel like I have to, you know, constantly chase my left side. Instead, I bring my instrument in a little bit. So, you know, see my bow side can come together a lot easier. Yeah. So now we talk about when to tilt my bow. So the bow depends on different stroke. I'm talking in a very basic sense now that that we just if we want to produce a healthy sound, we start with our down bow. We can start with full hair like this, right? We can also start with a little side hair like this, like I tilt towards the squirrel. And then as I go, you probably see what I'm doing. I am drawing my bow towards full hair instead of staying on the side hair all the time. Some people do that all the time for special effects or for special color, but I'm just talking about a healthy sound right now. I go from the side hair to full hair, and then as I go up, I have to remember to relax my elbow, and then I will tilt my bow about a third away. I start tilting my bow towards the squirrel like this. Why do we tilt our bow at the frog? That's because the frog is the heaviest, right? So if we don't take away some weight, then it's gonna be heavier than the rest of the bow. That's why we do that.